Welcome to Behind the Strings. Today, I'm sitting down with the legendary Ben Verdery. We're going to be discussing his upcoming concert in Boston on November 22nd, along with life after Yale, questions that he thinks every guitar student should be asking. My favorite question, if he was stuck on a deserted island with a composer, which composer would he choose and why? Let's get into it. Welcome, guitarists, musicians, and music lovers, to the very first episode of Behind the Strings, presented by the Boston Classical Guitar Society. I am your host, Jhon Alvarado, a Boston-based guitarist and performer who's been lucky enough to spend the past 14 years exploring this beautiful instrument. In this series, we're going to sit down with some of today's most inspiring classical guitarists as they visit and perform here in Boston, diving into their music, their stories, and what inspires them both on and off the stage. And what a better way to start than with the legendary Ben Verdery. Ben will be performing for the BCGS on November 22nd. And today we're going to talk about what audiences can expect from that concert, his recent retirement from Yale, and anything else this discussion might lead into. So let's dive in. Ben, how are you doing today?
I am great. Thank you very much. I want to say that I'm really honored to be asked to play for the Boston Guitar Society and to be talking with you. It's a real, it's a real honor, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to mouth off.
Absolutely. I mean, it's an honor to have you. It's great. One of my favorite recordings when I was a music student was the Chaconne recording you have.
Oh, really?
I would listen to it all the time. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. You mean the one on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You know, I wrote about it. It's on my website. You can't believe what I went through to do that. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. Starting with the fact that I had, I'll just say quickly because I don't know what the whole thing is, that I had to go there. They just missed a hurricane, so the winds were crazy. Mm-hmm. And the two guys that filmed that I knew already, they were great guys. But it's my favorite spot that I've ever been. Maybe my favorite spot on all the islands is this one little spot, and very hard to get to, very remote. And we got super early. I get there, and it just got tons of rain. And again, they escaped a hurricane. And I'm going down this. It's by a church, and it's I'm sort of, you forget the music, but you should just see the video to see this place. It's sort of cosmic when you're there. It has a real vibration. It's behind it's behind Haleakala. Anyway, so I'm going down, and I've been there. Of course, I'm so excited to go and film there. And we got up at super early, and I'm driving down this dirt road, and I see that it's really dicey, and I'm in a rent-a-car, and I have to catch a plane because I'd come from Oahu. So it was a real time limit. And so I go down and said, this is dicey, but for some reason, I keep going, and I get to the bottom, and my friends who were local said, dude, what were you thinking going all the way down? You're never going to get back up. Your car's there. So instead of going right into filming, which we had very limited time, we had, and they had a whole thing about the sun, we got to try to get you out. We can't get you out. They tried everything. It's Labor Day. Getting someone to tow me, and then it goes from there. But we actually got the video done. But everything that could go wrong was amazing. I think the thing that I love is when people say, dude, where did you get that sound? The sound of the echo in the guitar. Is it coming off from the mountain? Because I rehearsed so many hours to sing that. And my friends had these speakers. And they were great. They were blasting it. But still, we had the wind. You'll see the wind is going crazy. And the ocean is pounding. The whole thing. Anyway.
In a lot of ways, though, the wind and everything makes it so dramatic and really embodies the Chaconne. And so, but I think it was worth the sacrifice.
You made my month, my year. I got to tell you. My wife was back in Honolulu. She was not happy with this. She's, but I made it. Believe it, I made it. But I wrote all about it, especially the tow truck guy. Oh, anyway, we have other things to talk about.
That's hilarious. That is a great story.
I got yelled at by the guy. Got yelled. What were you thinking? I'm from never mind. Okay. Anyway, go on. Now, that's it. Thank you for the interview. Love you.
Amazing. Let's dive into the Boston concert.
Yeah.
You are playing a very interesting program, especially the second half. Do you want to talk about what you're playing and maybe some of the audio and visual connections that you're going to be making during the performance?
Sure. Well, thank you. I'm glad you think it. I think at the ripe young age of 70, I've written a lot of music, and it just seemed like, well, I think I'm going to play my music, which I've done a little bit, but not always. I always like to bring in all the different music that I've loved over the years, but I have enough music that's quite different. So I'm starting with a piece that I really love. I don't think when I say I love it, it's like I don't think it's any good, but I like like I don't think my music is particularly good music, but I like it, or I wouldn't play it. You know what I mean? And I may not like the whole piece, but I like little bits, and I go, I like that bit. And but I never said it was any good. But so the first piece is a rather extended piece. It's 14 minutes long, and it's called The Rain Falls Equally on All Things, which was a term that I read in a Buddhist magazine, but I know it's a Christian, it's an exact Christian term too. And I'm sure many other, I love the concept of that, that, all of us are affected by the rain, or it falls on all things. But I also love rain. And in Hawaii, there are something like 20 different names for different rains. And having lived there, that you get these, like, just there. And, you have liquid sunshine, and you have these little, just so. I also love, of course, rain nowadays, it's created such havoc. So we're not talking about flooding, but a heavy rain or seeing rain come. I used to live on Cape Cod, and we were lucky enough to live on a bluff for a while, and you'd see the thunderstorm come across the bay, or you see that in Hawaii too. You see rain far out in the ocean. All of that is like fascinating to me. Yeah. And I love swimming in the rain. That's one of my favorite things. My wife thinks I'm nuts when it's raining. So I love, you're getting wet out here. You're under, and I love sitting under the water. I'm a bit of a water baby. Like, I just can't stay out of even a pond that's dirty. I'm going, well, maybe I can swim.
Just a few minutes.
I love looking at the rain falling. So this is a piece sort of like of impressions of rain, and really explores the guitar in many different manners. So it's a fantasy. It's a free form, even though a lot of it comes back. A lot of themes come back. It's very thought out in that sense, but the form is more like a fantasy. And then I brought back these. Many years ago, I was teaching at a high school, and they were doing a recording, and one of the students said, I said, I'll write you a piece. And I was teaching 5 students at this high school in Staten Island. And then some other students say, you said you were going to write for a piece for Harry. How come you're not writing a piece for me? I said, all right, I'll write you a piece. So it got to be like five of them. And then I just got so into it, like writing these shorter pieces. I call them etudes. I think they're more character pieces. And I haven't played them in so long. But they do have an arc that was completely unintentional. They do have this kind of arc to them. And I wanted to bring back, because one of my former students, who's a concert guitarist now, he's touring Japan, Ko Kasama, and Ko was playing them, and I was like, damn. He reminded me that I kind of liked him, and so in fact, even Elliot played a couple of them on, just on a video during COVID. He looked, just was reading through them, and so anyway, so I started learning again, and I got very excited. And then I have an artist friend who's really if he's not my favorite living visual artist, he's top 3. His name is Lothar Osterberg, and he's a photogravurist, and I can't say how much his work moves me. He taught at Bard for many years, just retired. He creates art that like you've never seen anything like this. For example, you will see images of a boat, but he makes the boat and he makes the water, and it's all kind of fantastic in the real sense of the word, you know. And then that's done through a photogravure process, which you'd have to look up. I mean, it's
Gotcha.
And I mean, and so I asked him, being such a fan, I said, "Hey, man, would you find 11 images?" He had many images of boats, you know, and he said, "Okay, well, let me listen to your music, and and so he did, and he came up with 11 images. Well, 12 because one of my pieces is kind of divided. One of the etudes is divided in two. So I'm so excited to show this and I've played looking at them, and it was just a great collaboration that I didn't actually pick them. You know, I knew one of them is the cover of my last record. So okay, I knew one or two of them, but it was cool that he went by the titles, because all the titles are very specific. You know, there's a title called Monkey Mind, there's a title called Passing, there's a title called Let Go, there's a title called Home Is Here. They're all very specific titles. Most of them sort of spiritual, but without being overt. And so that's the first half. So it's quite a long. It's like those are two big pieces. Second half, I'll pick up with a piece that I wrote for the Kostler duo. They live in Salem, North Carolina. So I thought, okay, they commissioned this a bunch of composers. Really cool project where we all had to write preludes and fugues. And just as a story, one of my mentors and best friends is Frederick Hand, who I studied with. And I told Fred, "Hey, man, I got, commissioned by this duo to write a prelude and fugue." And, he's still kind of like an older brother. And he, in a sense, like he'll really tease me and get on me. It's like, even to this day, and so sure, this isn't even that long ago. This was like 217. And says, "So you think you know how to write a fugue?" And I said, "No, I don't know how to write a fugue. That's why I'm studying it now." And so I went online because I couldn't remember like my counterpoint. I went back and I did counterpoint like online.
There's a lot of rules.
I couldn't remember anything, but I yelled back at him. I said, "No," and so it's a little. It's probably not a proper fugue, but anyway. So I wrote a prelude fugue, and they gave you a key to write in. Luckily for me, they picked somebody bowed out, and I got to go back to it was going to be E flat, and it was just cool. I love the E flat prelude and fugue of Bach, the organ. It's such a great piece. Saint Anne fugue, I think it's called. Anyway, so it's D, and so. But I decided to base all of the sounds, all of the motives and the themes are all bird calls from South Carolina. From North Carolina. And I had more fun because they really work. The cardinal has about 5. It was that's just and the woodpecker. There's a ton of I don't know. There's about 5 or 6 or 7 bird calls, and I will give it away now. Spoiler alert! But they do appear in the piece. So it's a duo. And I had so much fun writing it, realizing that, my God, all of these bird calls of this Northeast and of there really work on the guitar. I mean, it's unbelievable, And of course, there's such a history of composers where, Couperin, Baroque music, lute music, always referencing birds. Of course, the champion is Messiaen. Messiaen is a god for me. Somebody I really wish I'd been able to meet and study with, but it's crazy. You can make a list going on forever about how, and we're all inspired. I'm a bird nut. I got a bird feeder in Honolulu, which is all I do is look at the birds. I even talk to them now. It's like I got 3 parrots that come every morning. Anyway, so I'm super excited. I'm playing with, I would say, one of my favorite young guitar players. Her name is Hao Yang, and Hao is I wish I could play as good as, even remotely as great as her. and she became a friend. She studied with me, if you want to say that. I didn't teach her anything at Yale in my last year, and she's just a crazy great musician, just crazy, and forget about the guitar playing. But she's also like really fun, and she allows me to be really silly and say really stupid stuff in rehearsals. And I'm so happy to, I hope you have her as a soloist, because wow. Anyway, and she's been a joy. So Hal's going to join me for that. So to do it, and then I'm going to play a piece, my piece by that I wrote. It's a solo version of. It's not a version, but it's inspired by and uses all the material is from my piece Scenes from Ellis Island. And it's a solo guitar piece. And I'm thrilled that John Olson, who did all of the curating of the pictures for the Ellis Island, the guitar ensemble piece that's up on YouTube, and has done it at GFA. And John is going to put together again, curate a series of photographs with this piece. And I wrote the piece because many, many years ago, I'm very lucky that Scenes from Ellis Island has been played many, many times. I'm playing it I'm conducting in Nevada in a week. And, it's just one of those pieces that I'm moved that we just did it in Cincinnati anyway. So it's been done a lot. And there are parts of it that I really resonate. I mean, one year, the Los Angeles Guitar Quartet heard it, and Bill asked me to write a quartet version, which I did, but it's since revived, and a new version is coming out with the Atlantic Quartet, which I'm really, really excited about. but I wanted to write a sort of a solo inspired version using the solos from the piece. So I wrote it for Scott Tennant, who asked me. He asked me for a piece, and I thought, okay, perfect. And then, Scott kind of looked at it, and he didn't have much time to learn it. So he didn't really learn it. And then I wanted to go back to look at it, I think like 2 years ago, or a year ago. And I started to look at it, and I said, no wonder why he's not playing this. It's not even playable. It's like there's so many things wrong with it. I mean, yeah, it had really cool things. But oh my God, I went through it, and I did it on Sibelius, and it looked good. And I'm not saying I didn't play it, but it's easy. I've done this before. You sort of write something and it looks great and it sounds great. And even though you play through it, that's not the same as like really learning it.
Yeah,
and really going through it and saying, wait a minute, this shift, this transition, et cetera, et cetera. So Scott was so nice, and I still haven't sent him a new version. But I realized, no wonder. Actually, the same thing happened with my piece, the first piece, Rain. That also was written for a competition, and that also was kind of unplayable. And anyway, I revised it, and so I'm going to play that, and then I'm going to end the program with. I thought it'd be good to just go back to my roots and play sort of arrangements of American songs. There's one blues song by a great Cincinnati. She didn't write it, but she's a great singer from the 1920s, Mamie Smith. And Perry Bradford was the composer of that song. And it's an incredible song. If you hear the original, it's all brass blues, early blues, jazz. And then one of my heroes, Randy Newman, song of his. And then I'm just, I have to play the Hendrix because it's one of my first things I ever did. So that will end as a kind of a reference to my kind of childhood as playing in rock and roll.
That's amazing. I love that. And so that's how you grew up, was playing rock and roll. And then
I really was struck, like millions of others, by the power of rock. I mean, two things in music for me. One was my father was a minister, so I think I was very ready to go. At age 18, I sort of decided I really wanted to play Bach on the guitar, because I had a hero that was a harpsichordist. I was like, how can I do that? Anthony Newman. And it seemed, but I think also it was easy because I grew up listening to so much organ music, and my father's organist was great. So they played Bach all the time. It was just always, and also Anglican hymns are really great. I mean, I still get all teary. I can't, I find a lot of the melodies, a lot of harmonizations are good. so I had that musical side of my youth in church, and then rock and roll was really powerful. And I was lucky enough to play in bands, and which in retrospect, I always said, oh, I wish I had proper lessons. I didn't really read music until I was 18. So yeah, and I think in the end, there was a lot to be gained from playing in rock bands, and the musicians are still friends of mine. In fact, the bass player in my very first band is a very famous economist who was worked for Joe Biden, who's on CNN. I mean, he's on CNN, MSNBC a lot. His name is Jared Bernstein. He wrote me the other day, and Jared sent a picture of us as the trio when we were like 10, 11. Anyway, so that's my background. Yeah.
That's amazing. If you don't mind going back real quick to the Etudes and working with Lofar, is this the first time you're working with him?
Yeah, look, this is just totally first time. This will be like a premiere.
Gotcha. And
it's not the first time that I've worked with him. We did I did a piece on YouTube, which is sort of where I used Leo Brower's voice in an interview. And it's kind of a trippy tribute to Leo Brower, and Lothar did. It's such a wacky title. Excuse the big silence. I think it's called I was talking to Takamitsu and Palestrina called on the phone, or I was talking to Palestrina and Takamitsu called on the phone. Yeah, you got to you look that up.
I need to see that, yeah.
and Leo Brower, because a friend of mine did an interview with him and they allowed me to use it. So you hear Leo speaking and I'm playing around it. But Lothar did the film. It's super cool.
Wow. Okay.
So we worked on that, and he's done my last record, the cover. Yeah, which is in the Etudes.
Amazing. Yeah. And have you?
This is more of a collaboration. Oh yeah, we did a video. Oh my God. That's the trippiest video ever. His wife is Elizabeth Brown, who is one of my favorite composers. I think she's one of our greatest composers. And Elizabeth wrote, I think, one of the best pieces anybody's written for me, for theremin. She plays the theremin, and she's a great shakuhachi player and flute player. And she wrote a piece for theremin and classical guitar with slide. And Lothar did the video, and I'm begging you should put that in the thing. We should put that. It's so far out.
Absolutely.
It's a video. Yeah, again, he's an artist, so it's not like my videos, which are, very cool. And this is should be in a museum.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'll look it up and I'll put it in the description.
And it's a great piece, man. It's a great piece. And more people should play it. It quotes Villa-Lobos.
Amazing.
It's called Atlantis. So it's about Atlantis singing, but it's also because of that, Elizabeth said, well, she uses the arpeggio of Etude 1. And then a little quote of Etude 5 in Villa-Lobos.
Wow.
So anyway.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And then, so do you have a lot of history working with audio visual in your performances, or is that more of a
recently? Because I did a COVID piece in which I asked the Yale, one of the galleries at Yale, the British Art, if they would. During COVID, I fell in love with Carruri, and this piece was sent to me by Richard Savino called "The Tempest." It's called "The Storm" or something, and it's this really programmatic piece about a storm and a couple, and a dragon comes and he slays them. And I kind of just thought it was the perfect COVID piece. I couldn't believe it. I got so into it. And so I asked the museum to give me all of these paintings that show different parts of the story of the slaying and the boy meets girl and they go to a cave and the whole thing. And they had enough paintings that worked. And that's also up on YouTube. And John Olson put that together as well. Gotcha. So I did that. I did that for a few years live with the guitar and the thing. So I did that, but I think that's it. I've worked with dancers. I love putting the guitar in. Yeah, I mean, of course, many people do it with Tedesco. That's very common. So it's nothing new, but I do enjoy it. I do think it's cool. And I'm super excited about both what John's going to come. John's working now on the Memories of Ellis Island and what Lothar,
Yeah, absolutely. And Jhon Olson is local now. He's in Boston.
I know he's big time local.
Yeah.
We talk almost every day. It's crazy. Yeah.
Wow. It's amazing. Was Jhon Olson your student as well, or?
No. I'm his student of life.
Gotcha.
We have, but John worked. I mean, John's taken many classes with me, with his dear wife, who's my dear friend Joya. And I've coached them many times. John ran my Maui class for 8 years.
Wow.
So he knows Maui.
Inside and out, yeah.
He knows Maui. They know, I should say, Joya and John. So yeah, but a dear friend and just the best.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
And so is this concert, is it part of a larger tour for you, or is it more of just a single concert, and are you spacing performances out?
I think you'd call it a tourlet.
Okay.
Tourlet, not a toilet, but a tourlet. So it's like, I have a couple. I was just thinking Nevada. I'm playing a really cool house concert at a friend. I'm playing tomorrow at Duquette University just for guitar students.
Mm-hmm.
So just a sprinkling, as it were.
Wonderful.
It's like one of those rains in Hawaii where it just sprinkles a little bit. You get it wet, but nothing. But not yeah.
But it sprinkles throughout the day.
Yeah. Rain, it falls equally on all things. Yes.
Exactly. Beautiful. See how it all works out.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So do you want to talk a little bit about your time at Yale, maybe?
Sure.
Most recent retirement and how that might have felt, or how you might have felt when you were preparing for retirement?
Sure. I mean, how should I approach this? I realized that, first of all, the preparing for retirement was really easy but it was tough because I didn't have as much time as I do now, retired from Yale. So what I did to training was to drink more beer, a lot of beer, and start watching daytime TV, which was tough because I'd be at Yale and I'd be teaching, and then I'd have to stop a lesson and watch, some daytime TV, and then and kind of conceal the beer and the Cheetos, of course, the chips, and so that's yeah. So that's how I prepared, and now, of course, I can go full on, that's what it is. It's like I'm not caught up on all the daytime TV, but I'm doing well. I'm at least better. No, I mean, I realized that in addition to that, I realized that everything changes in life, everything moves. I've been there 40 years, and I really did know that my wife and I were going to inherit this house in Honolulu, and that I thought that's where I want to go and start a new life. But I also felt like, I knew there was going to be an end. Like, I wasn't going to be the teacher that stays forever. And they were so kind. They said, "We don't want you to leave. Please stay," which was so moving, Wow. But I knew that at some time that I wasn't going to keep going and die in my studio or a day after, And I also felt like, look, man, you've done this for 40 years. If you can't get it right after 40 years, just get out and move on, give it to somebody else, So, and I did feel like a younger person should be there. I felt like I was, reflecting on what I had done as a teacher, the things that I introduced, and I was happy with. And it just felt like, this is, and it had a little bit of a sting. I think it's sometimes good to leave something when it does have a little bite, it was like, I think that's healthy, So it's not a clean. And so it really felt like the time. It just felt, okay, look. And the other thing was that we have a great new dean there, and he really he really made my exit, as it were, very moving and acknowledging what I'd done. And I'll be grateful for life for that, so it made it. And my students were so great. And I had the best, I was very blessed to teach at Yale. It was, I can't, I apologize to all the students that I may have given lackluster lessons to, because, teaching, all of us that teach, it's a tremendous responsibility. And I know that the Dalai Lama, when I've seen him teach, he bows. I've said this many times. He bows to the chair that he's about to sit in to teach. I mean, it's a big deal. Teaching, no matter what your teaching is. If you're teaching, in fact, if you're teaching, my wife is a brilliant teacher of children, the flute. She's a big Suzuki, loves Suzuki teaching. So it doesn't matter if you're teaching someone, that's not being professional, or someone that is, it doesn't matter. It's an incredible, intimate time you have with these people, very well. And so I always feel you can't be good enough at it. You just can't, and I like to think that my teaching improved. I know that the people that a lot of my students that I see teach, they're better trained. I think they're better, but still, you can't get enough training. It's something that you just get. You have to experience, like playing. I mean, you have to just do it. But it's not. I think I just kind of fell into teaching. I immediately started teaching when I left my college. I went back and taught at SUNY Purchase the exact next year. But man,
yeah,
I learned a lot. There's a lot to learn, and then I was lucky enough to have mentors and teachers. So I actually still take lessons from friends, and I take lessons. Like my mentor was a guy named Seymour Bernstein, who's a great pianist. And I up until COVID, I would play for Seymour. I would play for him. I mean, and he would be at the piano. It was the nocturnal. I wouldn't play so much my music, but I would play Bach or anything. I thought anything like Albéniz. He didn't like a lot of guitar music, but certain music he really loved. He loved the Britain. We studied that a lot. So I learned a lot from him about teaching. Once I really watched how he taught, I really took a lot of his, my teaching was very reflective, especially about phrasing, dynamics, questioning the students, Anyway, I don't need to go on and on, but yeah.
No, I mean, I completely agree with you. I've always thought that to be a great teacher, you need to be a lifelong learner, and you have to be willing to be not only the teacher, but learn alongside the student. Because it's a lot. Like you said, it's a lot of responsibility. I completely agree with you.
And everybody says this, but the amount I learned from my students is staggering. Like how, but not just how, not always the most greatest virtuosi, not at all. I mean, all of my students have been great teachers, and they continue to be. I mean, the most beautiful thing is that when you're with a student, whether it's a man, there's no age, because you're both so in love with music and the guitar that it kind of takes away the age, and that's why the relationship is so special, Yeah. And I can't believe how many students are friends of mine, really friends, like and so it's been a blessing. So in a way, I feel I left the physical thing at Yale, but I still am in contact with a lot of my students.
Yeah,
so I don't feel like, even though I moved to the most remote place on earth, I'm still in touch with them, a lot, and playing. Look, I'm playing with How. I'm playing with, a bunch of them. Amtron, the great Vietnamese guitarist.
Love on, yeah, absolutely. And so, do you see any more teaching in your future, or do you see it more as a start of a new chapter? So, I
would never take a post unless for $1 million. I would never, unless for millions of dollars.
It went from one to
regular teaching. I am actually committed to teach for a few years in Vietnam. So I will be doing summer classes, at least another one, and I did this year. I wouldn't this exact, but following it, we're going to do some recording, and so definitely a post like that in the summer. And I would, I'm thrilled to do master classes. I would do a residency if somebody wanted me, to come for, I'm open, but to sure. I'm also going to make a series of kind of little short video clips. It'd be like in a book form about what I've learned, whether it's phrasing, fingering, practicing. I'm compiling a huge thing, and they'll be like all like 2 minutes for video, and that's going to take a year, but that's like kind of I'm excited about. I've already did some of it in a lecture I've given many times called Musical Thoughts and Observations, and things I've learned from Seymour, things that but I'm going to make it into it. So that will be a type of teaching.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
And you already kind of asked my next question, but do you have any large plans for retirement, like any big projects in the work? You mentioned the videos, recording on. Is there anything in addition to that you've maybe been looking forward to or planning for?
Well, I mean, I'm a little astounded. Such a smart fellow, and all you've accomplished, you sort of missed something I've already mentioned, which is the most important thing of retiring, which is the Cheetos, the beer, and the daytime TV. Now you mean in addition to that.
That's a full-time job.
It is. I don't want to. I'm not gonna have time.
Yeah, you have to commit. If you want to do something right, you got to fully commit.
Exactly. So I'm working on a better couch. I don't think the couch is right, but so other than that, it's so busy. My God. So one thing is I'm finishing up now another volume 2, if you will, of Some Towns and Cities. And I hope to finish it by January, but I think it's going to go on. So that's a project. I've got about 4 more pieces to record, and those are mostly duos, but about half of that is done, or a little over half. So that's super exciting. Then I'm doing 3 recording projects. One with a great violist at Yale, and we're making a record that we're so excited about, of just beautiful pieces for viola and guitar. So Schumann, Schubert songs, maybe some Dallin songs. So yeah, nothing new. And so I'm super excited because I love, his name is Ettore Cosa, and he's a god of the viola. That's what I think. I just when I first heard him play, it was like his sound. It's like a Yo-Yo Ma kind of sound.
Oh wow,
he's a great guy. He's very Italian. And I don't know what I mean by that, but you know what I mean. And so I'm super excited about that. But that's further. And then Antron and I are doing a record that, again, a Vietnamese songwriter. So that's going to be great. So those are 3, and then a solo record, but that's further down. And then I have to. I'm writing a concerto for 2 guitars for a guy named Mike McCauley and his duo. Partner, and that I'm doing over the summer. I'm super excited. It won't be a concerto. I think it's going to be again a Some Towns and Cities, but for 2 guitars and orchestra. So it'll be like 4 pieces: Honolulu, I think San Francisco, New Orleans. Yeah, those 3. Why am I missing one? Oh, in Chattanooga, where he's from. So I'm excited about writing these kind of shorter 4 or 5 minute piece for 2 guitars, and they'll involve probably electric guitar, ukulele, they'll move around, from in the guitar family. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty busy. Yeah.
It sounds like you're keeping super busy.
Yeah, I know, a little too much. And there are many other pieces that have to be copied and just, yeah, it's a little, so I'm plenty busy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, the beer's going to get jealous. It's going to miss.
Yeah, I know. No, but I worked it out because, I can also, like, for example, if you're composing, you can still grab the Cheetos, and then a little sip of beer, and okay. So there's some free sections of the piece that are a little less formal, and maybe a little more beer that day. It's like maybe that's good.
There you go.
We'll see. Well, there you go.
The circle of life.
Yeah. There you so and there's good beer in Honolulu. You have a huge amount of local breweries. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there you go, and a lot of good pho, a lot of good Vietnamese food.
Oh, I believe that. Yeah. So let me ask a question for the aspiring guitarist that might be listening. From your experience as an educator, what is one question that you think every guitar student should be asking, regardless of level or proficiency?
I have thought one question. Okay, there's a few, so I'm going to throw a few out because you did full disclosure write this to me, and I thought about it a little bit. The first question I would say, what is their physical relationship to the guitar? Like, are you really comfortable with the guitar, with how you're holding the instrument? Is it the best? Are you having people watch you who really know about posture, and are you making your relationship to the guitar, because it's easier when you're younger. For me to play well, I have to do a series of stretches every day, because the weight of practicing is the way and I've had Alexander technique. I did injure myself, which was I tore some muscle tissue from too much tension in my neck, and I guess I was in my late 50s, and it was terrible, but I could still play. So just that guitar has I think it's more injuries than any other instrument. And so that was one thing. Like, is your relationship with the guitar physically good? What's your emotional relationship with the guitar and music? Are you happy? Are you free? Are you playing? Are you trapped? And it's okay to be trapped. There's no judgment in what I'm saying, but are you trapped in playing music that you think you should play, or that you think is going to please your teacher, or that you think is going to get you to win a competition? None of that is bad, but it's good to be aware of it.
Yeah.
Like, what's your relationship with the music you're playing? Are you playing music you really love? One thing I think that's really cool about an undergraduate degree is I really think it's important, and I know my colleagues agree, to be able to play different styles. You don't have to be a scholar, but you really should, to not have played any vihuela music is crazy. And I know, and nowadays you can even get a vihuela, and that's trippy. Well, we know there's no vihuela, but Yale has an amazing one built. We know there's no original vihuela, but the touch and everything of a vihuela and the way it sounds, navajes, it's a completely different. So if you've never done that, if you never played that music, even on guitar, you're missing out. Yes. But you don't have to be a scholar. You just have to have a teacher say, let's just learn one or two of these pieces. What's it? It's an unbelievable piece. It's unbelievable. Okay, so Dowland, like, if you've never, are you kidding? Dowland, music. Like, but you don't have to like it. So I think undergrad, I like the fact that you're taken through different styles, right? In different periods. But I don't think you have to like it. I didn't like Mozart until I was like in my 40s. When I say like, I didn't get it. I know it's great, but sorry. My wife was like, you have to see it, you have to have therapy. I said, no, Beethoven got it, Schubert, forget about it. But in terms of Western music, and then something happened, and now
something clicked. Yeah,
you're not supposed to like it, but you, as a guitarist, you'll be a better player if you have played different styles. If you've never played a substantial piece by, Regondi or Giuliani, I love. Garrulli, they're different periods. Obviously, Fernando Sor is a little later, but he's some incredible, especially the etudes for me. Okay, so different styles. And that goes into obviously, and I do feel very strongly about the Villalobos etudes. I think I just feel everybody should play them, and that's it. I don't even, many of my students, I kind of forced. That was the one, there were 3 composers I kind of forced on them.
Okay.
Many of them, and one was the Britten, all 12 etudes and Bach. Those were my kind of go-to, along with other stuff. And then I would, are they composing? Like, I would ask them, why haven't you composed a piece? Just one piece, I'm asking. I made my students every year, they would compose an etude, and many of them would discover. I'm thinking of how now, I'm so angry with her, because she wrote an etude, you can't play. I said, well, what's wrong with you? You write this little piece, and I didn't ask for, it's an etude, but they would ask for 3 or 4 minutes, not even 2 minutes. And I said, I would really coach them and say, look, so they need to experience composing. It's just mad if you've never written it. It's like game over. And you should improvise something, improvise modes. Like, I'm really into playing the modes now. So I'm playing all the modes, and it's just a great way to play scales. Instead of scales, play all modes in different keys and start a Phrygian mode on C, whatever, etc. So improvising just a minute a day, and then basically just ask yourself, like I said, are you inspired by the music you're playing? Are you inspired just by your musical community? Are you inspired by your teacher? And look, not every day is inspirational, but and finally, are you a better person than you were a year ago? Am I a better person? Am I a better guitarist? Generally, the way you feel about your playing reflects sometimes how you are as a person. But are you just completely self-absorbed, which is natural when you're young? I certainly was. But it's good to kind of take stock. So like, maybe ask your best friend, am I a better person than I was last year? And yeah, sort of, maybe not.
Yeah. It's important to ask a friend who's honest.
Yeah. Don't be too honest. Yeah. Anyway, I hope those are I hope those some questions. Also, and finally, the problem, and this because you spent so much time in Hawaii, but you don't have to be in Hawaii. God knows, just spend more time in nature. How much time have you spent in nature? How much time have you spent away from your cell phone, away from the computer, and listen to birds, for example? Just something. But you gotta. We're in a desperate time for nature. So that's. And then just think about your guitar. It's wood. It's like it's all natural. And the music that most people play. Mahler used to spend every summer just in a cabin. I mean, apparently just walking. And so more, most of the music that these people play come from composers that really, I lived in New York City I'm still sort of half there. I mean, I love cities, but you gotta get that. Yeah.
No, I completely agree with everything you said. I mean, you touched a lot on exposure and exposing yourself to not just everything in music, but just the world and nature and life. And I think that's such a big part about being a musician. That's just
it is. I mean, look, it's easy for me to say that at 70, So I was completely a guitar nerd. I stayed in a room. I was lucky enough that I did get out, And I also married a flutist. I think, play. I mean, I could go on and on, but I mean, playing chamber music is really, try to get out of the guitar world, which is a great world, but hang out with a pianist, hang out with a flutist, any other musician, tabla player mostly.
Just leave the bubble every once in a while.
You got to. But you do that if you play other music. I think young musicians, my students, are far better at that than they were 20 years ago.
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely. They all have duos with other instruments, and it's much better. I mean, the world of music is much freer now,
Yeah.
Less, I think people have all these complaints about it. I get it, but it's much more open.
Yeah. No, I agree. Completely agree. Okay, amazing. So we're almost out of time, but I want to end on a fun question. So if you had to choose one composer to be stuck on an island with, not Hawaii, who would you choose and why? And it can be any composer, dead or alive.
It has to be Bach. I mean, the one piece I listen to the most is Dona Nobis Pacem for the B minor mass.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
I could hear it. It still makes me weep. But yeah, it would have to be Bach. I mean, I mean, you know, I know I'm sorry if that's not, but it just kills me. And there's so many facets to his music. You know, he can write a great tune. He can write, obviously, complex, you know, fugues that, you know, it's just, there's no end to it. Yeah. And as one of the records that affected me, and I still, not on the same level, but really affected me when I was like 19 or 20, was Keith Jarrett's phone concerts. And I listened to that endlessly, and I still can hear parts of it and just love it.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the list is huge, you know, but yeah.
I that's the same person I would pick. The St. Matthew Passion is something I listen to all the time. When I was studying for my master's, I had one of my teachers, Jerome. He told me, he said, if you listen to the St. Matthew Passion in its entirety, no matter what issue you're experiencing as a musician, if you want to fix it, you will find it in the Passion.
Oh, beautiful. I love that.
It's true. I listened to the Passion. That's like a week later. It's 3 hours long, worth every second. And ever since, I listened to it at least once or twice a year. It's amazing.
Didn't work out so well for Christ, but hey.
That's true. We got good music.
Yeah, but yeah. Oh my God. I kid. But I can say that as a preacher's son. No, I love that he said that. I love that. Beautiful.
Yeah. But do you have any the closing thoughts before we close up the interview?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I'm you know, I would say just thank you for having me. I'm so excited to you know, play. I would say to people, just practicing and is such a gift to be able to practice or to play music. You know, you can feel, there's so much here that we can feel and express, and not just the composers, and we have a lot of music and so in us. And I would just say to everybody, don't forget how lucky you are to play music, and especially in these times which are so troubled. I believe that just practicing is good for the world. It's just positive to send out that, and so it will make you, if you practice well, you'll be a better person. You know, and but I think share your music as much as you can. And you won't believe how much people want to hear your music, no matter what. You know, try not to judge yourself so much. I'm not good. I'm not proud. Just play your music for yourself, and then if you can share it. I was just playing for my granddaughter. She's barely 2 years, almost, you know, year and a half, and she just watched. And I was playing their etudes at my etudes, just watching her watch me and just thinking, what is she perceiving, you know? But yeah, so just share your music as much as you can, and just try to be as nice to people as you can, because it's not worth it. And there is a lot of try not to make music such a negative thing. You know, when I was in conservatory, it was just everything was so negative. Wrong note, wrong. You know, like, what about different note? Maybe it's not a wrong note, man. Maybe it's hip. Like, leave it in. Yeah. You know, it's like maybe wrong to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not suggesting not doing what the composer was, but yeah, I mean, it's really try. I'm not saying being like man, everything's cool. It's like, yeah, but it is cool, just so you don't have to be, again, the music, at least when I was learning, it was a lot of negativity, man, and uptight and and there are a lot of ways to play music. There are a lot of interpretations that work. And we know that from recordings. So when you're feeling low, just go listen to somebody and you'll see, oh my God, like Bill Lobos. Just go listen to Bill Lobos. It's the most widely, if you take Prelude 5 and listen to how many versions there are. And then tell yourself you don't deserve to have your own whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a great example.
Yeah, just enjoy it. It's really you're really lucky to be able to play and to have guitar makers. This is a guitar guru from Vietnam. I mean, we're so lucky that guitar makers are so good now, and you can get strings. I mean, so. Yeah. And you even have kiss nails that you can buy when your nail dies.
True. There's everything now.
You have it all, so shut up and just play. What is that, Frank Zappa? Shut up and play your guitar. I think that's a Frank Zappa thing.
Perfect. And with that, thank you so much for joining us, Ben.
Thank you so much. I look so forward to hanging out. Yeah, of
course. I can speak for the entire society. We're so excited to have you join us.
I wish I could make it, because I got stuff that day.
That's fair. It happens.
Look. But I would appreciate it if you could just send me the money because I got a grandchild. Look, I'll try to be there.
Fair.
But I can't. Things happen. I got stuff.
There's traffic. It's hard. It
is, but I think, the money would be good. I tried to suggest that to Yale. I didn't know why they couldn't just send me the check for, and then I'll teach. Maybe I'll show up. Maybe not. I think there's a lot of expectation. You people want me to come play this concert. I'm honored, but maybe I can't. Maybe I'm going to try.
That's all you have.
Yeah, I'll try to be there, but I really know I'm feeling already a little pressure. So let me think about it.
That's fair. That's where you sleep on it, see what the traffic is like, see what Google Maps says, and we'll go from there.
I really thank you for understanding.
Thank you to everyone who's tuning in and listening. If you're near the Boston area, make sure to check out Ben's concert on November 22nd. Tickets are going to be available on the Boston Classical Guitar Society's website. Thank you again, and we'll see you on the next episode of Behind the Strings.